What is up, everybody? How's it going? This is Trevor Howard here from the Bandit Land Boulevard podcast. Just like that, the season is back. We're in the 2023-2024 season, and this season of Bandit Land Boulevard is going to be electric because for the first time in at least in the existence of this show, the Bandits are going to be the defending champions throughout this whole season. Can the Bandits do it again? Can they repeat? Can they turn to a Rochester Nighthawks type of dynasty? We shall see. I got this beautiful jersey in the background, Marky Mark Stainhouse. We'll talk about him a little bit in this towards the back end of this show. But we're back with another preview episode of Banditland Boulevard. Tony, my co-host, is unfortunately not with me today because he is on his way to Albany watching the Bandits opener as they take on the Albany FireWolves tonight, December 9th, 2023 at 7 o'clock p.m. I'm at home wearing whatever this is, whatever this logo is, because I'm going to the Sabres game tonight. I was offered free tickets, so I said, why not? I do have ESPN Plus, so I'm going to watch the highlights of the game after tonight, but we're not talking about the Sabres and how they underperform every single night. We are here talking about the Buffalo Bandits because they are back. The reigning champs are back, and they are taking on the Albany FireWolves tonight at 7 o'clock in the state's capital of New York, Albany. So just like what we usually do on this show, we're getting into the players to watch, key, keys to the game, keys to a big victory. And yeah, I mean, Albany is 1-0 on the season. They came back and they won last week. A lot of crazy games week one. Rochester was down big to Calgary, went on an 8-0 run and won that game for their home opener. And the NLL completely got rid of the Eastern and Western divisions. It's all one big league format. And I think it's the top 8 teams make the playoffs. Doesn't matter if you're East and West. That's all abolished. So in the finals this year, you can see it's possible to see Bandits Nighthawks. It's also possible to see Mammoth Seals, stuff like that. We'll talk a little bit more about that in the playoff format once Tony comes back on the show. But it's been a long off season. The Bandits had, in my honest opinion, a very successful draft. But getting right into this game right here, the reigning champs going up against the Firewolves tonight at 7 o'clock p.m. Let's look at some key players to watch for both sides. We're going to talk a little bit first about the Albany FireWolves, who started off their season 1-0. Let's just look at some of these players. Doug Jamieson is definitely one of the players to watch as he is projected to be their starting goalie tonight. He was giving up a whole bunch in the first quarter last week, but he sort of, those halftime adjustments really worked, and he was pretty much lights out in the third and the fourth quarter. So for Albany, that's big. That's big for them. If they can get off to a fast start and hold on to that lead, that's big for them. A very young team, too. Just looking at some of these players' ages, but they're also a very, very fast and physical team as well. Mike Byrne, Sam Firth, Justin Getty, Nathan Grennan, Will Johansson, Andrew Kidd, Ty Kurtz, all these players, pretty much a lot of them are over 6 foot, pushing 215 pounds. There are a couple 5'9" guys in there that probably won't see a lot of field time. But yeah, they're a young team, definitely still in that rebuilding type of phase. So I think the Bandits should be able to jump on them pretty quickly and handle this game with relative ease. But as we say on this show all the time, you can't take any team lightly. That's just something that you absolutely cannot do. Let's look at the Bandit side of things. So, if you remember last season, we had one word that described pretty much accurately, gift wrapped into one word, the season of last year was adversity. Overcoming adversity. Similar to last year, the injury bug came back, and it came back, I don't want to say stronger than ever because we are pretty much healthy. But 2 key defenders are out on the physically unable to perform list. Bryce Sweeting and Adam Bomberry. We're projected to lose Adam Bomberry. They were rumored to say for the whole season. I'm not sure. I don't really understand what was going on with him or what the injury was. Bryce Sweeting, the same thing. And then on the projected player list is Max Adler, who is dealing with some working, I don't even know how to describe it. I'm going to say just circumstances at his real job prohibits him from playing, at least from starting the season. So the Bandits are missing two key defensemen and their key face-off, get-off guy in Max Adler. So that's going to be big. Other teams can look at that and try to pounce on that opportunity. But this team has proven time and time again, especially all throughout last year, that this team has depth. You can find a guy to fill in and replace that face-off, get-off guy. You have all the talent in the world on offense and transition to score goals. I'm not worried about that at all. But some of these new defenders, and we're going to be picking up the pieces. We're looking at guys like Carter McKenzie. We're getting a full season with Carter McKenzie. We're getting a full healthy season with Justin Robinson. If you remember, he kind of came back towards the back end of last regular season because in the 2022 season, he tore his ACL against the Riptide. Looking at guys like Justin Martin, who was doing all the dirty work in that game 3 in the championship against the Mammoth. Justin Robinson played the game of his life, and he's going to take that momentum into tonight's game against Albany, that's for sure, and pick up the pieces of his fallen teammates in Bryce Sweeting and Adam Bomberry. Dylan Robinson coming back in year 2. So the Robinson boys are going to be a tandem, and Cam Wires, look out for this guy. A 2022 draft pick. Cam Wires signed in the offseason. He's 6'5", 220 pounds from Ottawa, Ontario. He's a lefty. He plays field lacrosse. He knows how to score. I don't know, I kind of compared him to like a left-handed version of Clay Hill. You remember Clay Hill would go up and down the field and score goals, even though he played on D a lot of the times. He kind of reminds me of a lefty Patty McCready too, except he's 6'5", and I don't think Pat McCready's close to 6'5". But yeah, Cam Wires is going to be a huge part of this defense. Wearing Connor Fields' old number 5, he's coming into this game, and I know he can't wait for it. Another one, questionable for tonight's game is Tehoka Nanticoke. He is nursing an injury right now, but his status is questionable, and I believe he is a game time decision tonight. But look at this roster from the 2023 season. You want to talk about key players to watch? The Bandits brought back everyone outside of maybe Ethan O'Connor and Nathaniel Kozevnikov. They traded him for Steve Orleman, a goalie in this organization. Outside of those two, they essentially brought back everybody. The same team, the same Bandits team that was injured all of last season and won 14 games out of 18 and went 5-1 in the playoffs. Key players to watch. You want me to name the whole roster? I can name the whole roster if you really want me to. But I don't know. Just look at some of your key guys. Tehoka, if he plays, is always a threat on the field. Chris Kluche, who also had an outstanding game 3 as far as racking up assists and getting power play points against the Mammoth in game 3. Chris Kluche is a player to watch. Ian McKay, I would argue that he is probably the best transition in the game. And look at this. Look at this. Hold on, I think we're bringing him in. This is live. This is live. This is happening right now. This is live. He's in the window right there. There he is. Look at this dude. He's connecting to the audio right now. I summoned him. Tony, what is going on? I was just giving a preview of players to watch for Albany, talking about how they're a very, very young team, and they're a rebuilding team, and Buffalo should really pounce on them tonight. I was just going over the Bandits' key players, but how is it going, man? First game back since the Game 3 championship game, Banditland Boulevard. Look at this. Trev and Tony are back.
Yes, we are, and I can't wait to go. I'm already on my way to Albany to go watch the first game of the season. Planning on going to a few other games, but again, like you said, Albany has got some youngsters. They proved themselves to beat Las Vegas last week, so we got to not take them under advisement. They got to be watched, and we got to make sure we just put the pedal to the metal and just do what we do best, and that's play as one.
And Tony, I was talking about Jamison, their goalie, and how he was giving up a lot of goals in the first half last week, but he really
Yep.
adjusted at halftime last week, and in the third and fourth quarter, he was pretty much lights out. And I haven't even gotten into the keys to the game yet. But if the Bandits want to win this game, they got to get off really to a really fast start. Have him not find an answer in that second half. Just keep throwing balls to the net because they're going to score. Albany is a rebuilding team. Buffalo just came after a championship, so you got to take the odds. I say the Bandits win this game, but there are definitely keys to get into. Tony, I don't think that. Have you seen the injury report yet?
No, I have not.
I saw that Tehoka is questionable with an injury, but he's going to be a game time decision. My guess is that he plays, but I was going over the defense and how we're missing Bryce Sweeting and
Mhm.
Adam Bomberry, and we're also missing our face-off get-off guy, Max Adler, because he's his work life right now is over. I don't even want to say overshadowing, but it's really preventing him from playing the game of lacrosse. So we got to be undeniable at face-off, and I think we honestly have the defensive depth to hold these guys down.
Yeah, as you were saying about the key players on defense, like Sweeting and Bomberry being out, this is where Cam Wires is going to step up and have that his defensive skills are going to have to be as best as he could be, and to protect Vince at all times. Also, to make sure to keep Vince from seeing the shots, and he's going to have to really hold back on the one-on-one defenses. But again, you can't like not understand the fact that this kid is in the right set in the right place. He's got a championship caliber team. He's going to learn from the absolute very best. So I'm not worried about Cam. I got to meet him during the Bowling with the Bandits on the last event that they had over at 500 Pearl. But believe me, I got faith in this kid, and especially God forbid if guys go down, like you said, to Hokanatico gets questionable. But honestly, we could have Christian Watts come up and possibly Sam LaRue to fill the void because really, honestly, depth is huge again here in Buffalo.
And we definitely proved it last season. I mean,
Yep.
Josh Byrne, how many, you can probably count on one hand the amount of games that he played in the regular season. And then he
Yep.
missed, what, game one of the finals? I'm pretty sure. Like
Yep. He gets
he's
missed 1 and 2.
yeah, he was out a bunch, and the
Yeah.
offensive depth was there. We know that the defensive depth is there too. Because I mentioned guys before you came on, like Dylan Robinson, Cam Wires, who signed in the offseason, Justin Martin, who had the game of his life against the Mammoth in Game 3. He was locking it down. I have absolute faith in this defense that they can hold it down. You're getting a full season out of Justin Robinson, who came back in the back end of last season. Carter McKenzie's up here full time now. Brandon Robinson, if we're
He is.
talking about forwards, Brandon Robinson is back. And he was that big body in front of the
That's
net. I
huge.
called him the Thomas Vanek of lacrosse, the big body that screens the goalie and shovels in the rebound goals. It's great to have him back. I mean, we could just go right into the keys to the game. You're looking at Buffalo versus Albany. We did actually, if you remember this game, and you, Tony, and all the Bandit fans watching this, we lost week one to Albany last year at home. We lost our home opener to
That's
Albany.
right.
So when we mention, and we always say on this show, never take any team lightly, I'm saying
Nope.
that right now. Like, the odds are there. The Bandits are a championship team. The Albany FireWolves are a rebuilding team. I mean, the odds are there, and I can talk about odds all day. But it's any given Saturday, any given Friday, any given weekend in the NLL. Any team can squeak out a win at any point. Keys to the game. Look at their goaltending. If you're the Bandits, look at their goaltending. Watch how beatable they were in the first half last week against the Desert Dogs, and look at how locked down they were in the second half of that game when they came back and showed adversity and won that game. What you need to do is take shots from all angles. Keep this goalie questioning every single shot. Are they going to shoot from here? Are they going to shoot from here? Maybe a Josh Byrne restraining line, Stainhouse type of shot. Just keep on bouncing the ball, keep going high, shoot from all angles, keep him off balance.
Yeah, the way you're going to have to keep Doug Jamieson guessing is that basically, like you said, win those loose ball battles. That's number one in my book. That's why Kyle Buchanan's going to be huge. Thankfully, he signed back up with the Bandits this year.
We brought back everyone
And
outside
again,
of like two
keep
players. Yeah.
pepper the goaltender because that's what that's going to happen. Is that everyone needs to be a part of the game. It's not just the three names that we know is Byrne, Smith, and Kluch. It's going to be Fraser. It's going to be Tehoka, and it's going to be other players like Brandon Robinson's back. That's a key player too. So again, everyone has to play their part, and if they play their part right, they should have no problem again, with this young team still rebuilding, like you said. But again, don't take it lightly. Figure out how to beat Doug Jamieson quickly. And I'm sure the crowd's going to be huge, especially not only because it's the home opener for Albany, but Bandit's going to be there too. And they're going to rowdy up on Jamieson and make sure his game is off tonight.
Yep. And then one other thing you got to realize, and especially for this new season of this show, is everyone in the league knows that the Bandits are the champs, so they're going to try extra hard to dethrone these guys. So not every game is going to be a given, and not every game last year was a given either. How many games did we win in overtime last season? Like, if you split those, if we didn't win all those overtime games, and maybe we split those, we're looking at being the third or fourth seed in the East. And the fact that we got rid of the East and the West going into this year, I personally love that playoff format, by the way. I would love to see a Bandits Nighthawks finals. I think that would be absolutely electric. The battle of the 90. When you eliminate the East and the West, it eliminates a lot of that wiggle room. So you got to, even though the teams are coming at the reigning champs, you got to hold your ground, because one loss could drop you a ton of spots in the standings, because you don't have that East division anymore. You don't have like some of those teams that are your safety nets. I mean, last year that was Albany. Nobody was finishing below Albany last year. And in the West, that was Vancouver. Nobody's finishing below Vancouver. When you combine those divisions together like they're doing this season, that really just shows that you got to be on top of your game. Because if you lose one, that could be bad in the standings. But everyone knows that the Bandits are the champs, so everyone's going to try to dethrone the champs. I think the Bandits know that. I think Johnny T is probably telling them that. I don't even think he really has to tell them that. I think the Bandits players know that, and they should go in with that mentality. They have the secondary scoring. They need to pepper the goalie. Another thing is that you're missing two key defenders, and it sucks seeing Sweeting and Bomberry out. But play your style of defense that helped you win a championship last year. Come right out of the gates like you never left in the offseason, and show them that you're not going to bully us week 1 or week 2. We are going to go in and stomp you, even though we're missing 2 of our guys. Play lockdown D.
Yeah, basically like you said, Johnny Tavares has always got a game plan ready for any game specific. But like we said before in our podcast before, take one game at a time, know who you have to face, find a weakness and exploit it, because that's the way how we work. And that's the way how the Bandits won their championship last year, is because they found a weakness in Colorado in that last game 3, and they just put the pedal to the metal and they didn't even look back. So that's the exact same way we have to play this year, because like you said, every game, no matter if we lose 1 or we lose 2, it's going to be a factor for that standings at the end of the season. But again, this is our first game, so we got to take a look first in about what's going on. Obviously, we know that Albany is 1-0. They have beaten the Desert Dogs. They're a young team, and they have a lot still, but they still have key players that are going to keep them on board. So that's the key players we have to pretty much eliminate from this game tonight to beat them in MVP Arena, which by all means, MVP is more like Dave Smith in a town, but we know that. But go in there, have fun, and enjoy it, because this season, you got the crown on your head, so there's going to be people coming after you. But again, you're going to have an army to defend it. So we have the right pieces to the puzzle. I think we're going to be set and ready to go for tonight.
And I was also going to say key 3, which was a key that I've really never thought of before until probably today. But you're going into this season as the reigning champs. You know that Banditland's going to show up in the state's capital. Feed off of the crowd. Listen, like usually when I tell the players, like, don't have rabbit ears, don't listen to what the fans are saying, and especially in the visiting team's building, listen, you're going to hear a crap ton of Bandit fans there. I know that it's Albany's home opener, but the Bandits Mafia is going to invade that arena. Feed off of the crowd. When they say we want 4, you damn well give them 4. When they say we want 10, you damn well give them 10. You give them the Moe's 25% off of Moe's. You give them that stuff. When you listen to the crowd, because I'm telling you, it's probably, I don't know, would you say 50-50 as far as Bandits Albany crowd? Would you consider that generous? I'm thinking more 60-40 Buffalo.
Either way, I think Banditland's going to represent tonight. According to Albany, it's going to be a blackout night, so that's fine by us. That's our colors. We like to see that.
We're black too.
We'll represent the orange if you're going to represent the black, which is fine by us, because then it's basically be all Banditland all over again inside MVP Arena.
Yeah, you think it's gonna be a blackout? I think it's gonna be an orange out. Honestly, you're gonna see the orange afros. You're gonna see the championship merch. You're gonna see the championship swag. You're gonna see the mock commissioner trophies that everyone's gonna bring into the arena. It's going to be great. I mean, we could say stay out of the penalty box, but they did a good job of doing that in Game 3 of the finals last year. And guess what? They won that game by 9 freaking goals. So
Yep.
I think nobody needs to hear that anymore. But I think the big key is the Bandits have been finding answers to really solid goaltending the past couple years. I mean, we face against Hill from the Halifax Thunderbirds 3 or 4 times a year, and the Bandits have his number. They face against they faced against Del Bianco in the past, and they've had good success. They faced against Dylan Ward in the finals, they've had good success.
Yeah.
So I think my biggest key to the game is just keep Doug Jamieson, keep him questioning every single shot, keep him on his toes the whole game. He's going to make stupid mistakes. Their team is very, very young. I mean, there are a bunch of young 20-year-old, 21, 22, 23-year-olds on that team. They're bound to make dumb mistakes just because of inexperience. Guess what? The Bandits are experienced, and they can exploit those mistakes and run up the score and end the game by the end of the third quarter. But at the same point, you can never just take your foot off of the gas pedal like we've seen the Bandits do in the past. But they have come out and they've won those games in overtime. Just keep the pedal to the metal and go 1-0 to start off this championship year.
Yeah, bring home the W so we can raise that banner the following week and let people know that you want this, you come get this. That's basically the Bandits motto this year is if you want to take this crown or you want to take this trophy away from us, you're going to have to beat us for it.
Yep.
Because you want to be you want to, like Ric Flair said, if you want to beat the man, you have to beat the man. So that's basically how it's got to go.
Yep.
So hopefully we can do that this year. So like I said, take one game at a time, have fun with the guys you have, and by all means, let's just kick some rear ends this whole year and make a statement once again and go back-to-back champions.
And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you see Tony's in his car. I already mentioned before, because he's going to the Bandits and Albany game tonight. Guess where I'm going, Tony, if you see what I'm wearing?
You're going to the Sabre game tonight.
I'm going to the Sabre game tonight. I was offered free tickets, but I'm going to have ESPN Plus on speed dial so I can check in with the boys. I'm going to watch the full game recap tomorrow, win or lose, before we do our post game. And yeah, I don't even know what to expect out of the Sabres game tonight, but, wow. 0-6 at games I've been going to this year. They've just been a horrible, horrible, horrible home team. But you know who isn't going to be a horrible, horrible home team? It's going to be the boys that have the best statistical professional sports team in Buffalo, New York, and that's the Bandits, because I'm going to be there against the San Diego Seals, sitting in section 106 where our season tickets are, and we're going to be watching the Bandits. We're going to be watching the banner come down. And I did create a wish list for what the Bandits should do this season, and I'm going to do that on a separate show. But just to give you the little cliff notes of it, other than beating the Albany FireWolves week 1 and starting 1-0, something we didn't do last year, that's definitely on the wish list to start off 1-0 this year. I want them to bring back this jersey. I want them to bring back the jersey with the eyes. They need to bring that back. And you need to retire the number 3 for Billy D, and you need to retire the number 9 for Mark Stainhouse. Those are just the couple of the things I put on my season wish list. We can make a separate episode about that throughout the season, but bring that back. I mean, just bring this jersey back. They unleashed. I mean, I think they released this jersey the year after they won it in 2008. Could we be expecting a new third jersey or bringing this one back since we just won the title in 2023? I'm not sure, but it's going to be a great game tonight. I mean, I could talk more about key players to watch for the Bandits, but you already know. Nanakoke, Frazier, all these guys came back outside of essentially Ethan O'Connor and Kazevnikov. Like, this whole roster came back. So you thought they were good last year. They got a championship belt. Like, they're finally getting their rings. You think they played inspired last year. They want to go back-to-back more than ever, I guarantee you that. And there is no die, there is no quit in the way Johnny T coaches this lacrosse team.
That's right. I can't wait to see what new and creative plays that they have in store for their opponents, and to see what they'll do with the youngsters that we have coming up from the draft this year, and especially now that we have 4 goaltenders, which is surprising still to me. And I'm wondering if that kind of like threw you off by far, Trevor, that we saw three names on the starting lineup or as on the team that have goaltenders as most teams don't.
Yeah, Steve Orleman, and I mean, we got Matty Vino
Devlin
Vince,
Shanahan, and we
Devlin
got the new kid.
Shanahan. Yep. I don't know if this is like an experimental thing or if there's maybe a trade piece involved later throughout the season, maybe at the trade deadline. I'm not sure, but Orleman's pretty good as far as a
Mm-hmm.
backup goalie. If you need him in a pinch, he'll get you a bunch of good saves. Shanahan, I'm with you. I'm surprised that they kept three goaltenders on the roster, but Matt Vince signing for 2 years. We didn't even mention that. Matt Vince signing in the offseason for 2 more years. I remember he said in his post game,
Hmm.
probably after drinking a couple of bats after game 3, but he said, I only got room for 6 more rings. So
Yeah.
he signed for 2 years. Maybe they go back to back these next 2 years. Then he signs a 4-year deal and they go back to back to back to back. So he gets those 6 rings. I'm not sure, but I think he's the I would say
He's the goat of goaltending.
he's the Tom Brady version that isn't a crybaby in this league. He can play till he's 50 and he's still gonna have elite status. Like, I don't know. I think the three goaltending tandem is a little bit strange, but if it works for Buffalo, it works for Buffalo. I know Steve Dietrich knows what he's doing in the front office, so
Right.
I'm not really worried about that. Um, honestly, firing me up about this Cam Wires kid. Like, I was watching the highlight film of him. He played for Archers in the PLL. Super tall, super fast, and he's wearing Connor Field's old number 2, which I absolutely love. He's rocking the number 5, and he's still under his rookie deal. So we got a lot of time to watch him grow and develop because I think Tehoka's still on his rookie deal as well, and he turned out to be a superstar right out of the get-go, too. He was amazing in his rookie year. He had a little bumps and bruises. Oh, I think the whole team did last year, and you name a player, they probably got hurt last year. He didn't play a ton of games that I wanted to see, but he was healthy throughout the whole playoff and looked great. I'm hoping to see
Yeah.
similar things defensively out of Cam Wires, too, because this kid's going to be great.
I think he will be too. He'll be like the shutdown defender that we need. Maybe not as like cement foot like we had Mitch DeSnew back in the time,
Yeah.
or possibly Bryce Sweeting is having the same trouble. But again, he likes to move around. He likes to make you guess. He likes to make you think, oh, I got a lane to pass it to, and then he'll exploit it and he'll steal it and he'll turn it over and go the other way. So again, this is a big pickup for the Buffalo Bandits to grab Cam Wires while he could, and we'll just have to see how he does tonight, and we'll see how his career starts to grow and blossom how the Bandits want him to be. So if that's the case, that's awesome. I'm glad we have him on board. And yeah, to mention the fact that you had he said he is wearing Connor Field's old number 5. I was thinking of another defender, but in a different sport for the Buffalo Sabres, Jason Woolley.
Jason
number 5.
Jay Wool wore number 5. Yes, he did.
So, and again, that was a big goal that he had in Game 1 against Dallas in '99 Stanley Cup. I also
was he a lefty
remember
too?
that.
Was he a lefty
So,
too?
yeah,
I don't remember.
So that's going to be huge. I've got a feeling that could bring a lot of defensive mentality to the Buffalo Bandits. Just have that little spark that they probably need that gives them the quickness that they want.
Yeah, and if you watch his field lacrosse, like, I don't know much about his box lacrosse experience, but if you watch him play field, he's a defender that goes up and down the field and scores goals. Like,
Yep.
if you can bring that into box and you can bring that into the Bandits, I compared him to a Clay Hill with a left hand. Because remember, Clay Hill would run up and down the field and shoot and score. Pat McCready would do the same thing, except Cam Wires probably has like 7 or 8 inches on Pat McCready and maybe like 20 or 30 extra pounds on him. But I called him a lefty Patty McCready, a lefty Clay Hill, because those were the players that would run down the field and shoot the ball. You see a lot of players in this league, not really for the Bandits, that have a shoot-first mentality. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing. I love the way our defense is structured. Our defense is structured to scoop up the ball, pass to the transition, pass to the forward. Or defensemen pass it to the transition, and they take it up the side and shoot and score like an Ian McKay. But if we have a defender that can take it up the field and score, that's going to have every other team in this league questioning what this defensive mindset is. Are they playing contain? Are they playing lockdown man? Or are they like that shoot first? Is it like an extra forward on that defensive side of the ball? I think that's great. As long as everyone stays healthy, I think this team has the opportunity to do great things, very similar things to last year. We know how hard it is to go back to back. I would argue that the 2009 Bandits team was better than the 2008 team. I think they were better record-wise too, but they won the first game against the Blazers, and I think they were one and done in the second round. So it's going to be hard to go back to back. We know this, but we had the chance to go back to back for the first time since 92, 93 in this organization.
Yeah, that would be incredible if they could do that now and have it at 2023 and 2024. But like you said, it's about finding the same rhythm and also becoming the dynasty that we all want to see. And again, bringing all the guys back with like this re-signing of Fraser, re-signing of Toka, Buchanan,
Vince.
Again, that shows that these guys don't want to leave Buffalo and they want to retire here as a Bandit, and that's cool. And that's what we want to see is people who want to play for this team, who want to win championships. And I'm not saying any other team can't, but your best bet and your odds are in your favor if you are playing for the city of Buffalo. So I'm glad that these guys that we drafted are looking in and going, wow, we got picked by Buffalo. This is sick. I could start my career here and possibly end it here, which would be on a high note if they got a championship ring to hold in their finger and to hold the trophy at the end of the season. But again, one game at a time.
It starts week one.
You figure out what to do with Albany first. Yep, you figure out what to do with Albany first, and then we move forward to San Diego and home the very next week.
You think that's
my theory. Don't change what you don't think.
Tonight's going to be a party? Wait till next week. Just wait till next week. The decibel meters in the KeyBank Center are going to be off the charts. It's going to be louder than any Sabres game you've been to this year. And by the way, I've been to the Sabres. I've been to 6 games, and I saw them play the Rangers in the home opener, and that place was a freaking library. You know when the Bandits are going to be dropping that banner that they are going to be it's going to be louder than ever in that building. I can't wait to do the preview on that episode. It's going to be absolutely electric, but let's do something that we didn't do last year, and let's win week 1, or in this case, week 2, because they didn't give the championship team a game in week 1. So let's start off 1-0 in week 2.
Yeah, that would be great to go home with a victory on our shoulder and then raise the banner and then make the crowd go nuts. Basically louder than ever. It's louder than any Bills and Sabres combined.
Yes.
The KeyBank Center for the next following week.
And let's have the Bandits, like no pressure at all, but let's have them be the pick-me-up. Because the Bandits, because the Bills have been underperforming and the Sabres, woof. They've really been underperforming. So let's have the Bandits be that pick-me-up because they're going to show everyone that championships run through the orange and black in the 7-1-6, and everyone knows that. The 5-time champs are going to be the pick-me-up for all the sad Sabres fans, for all the sad Bills fans. Don't worry, guys. The Bandits got you. And I think, Tony, it's time to do our week 1 or our week. I keep forgetting it's week 2. They didn't give the champions a game in week 1. Let's go through our week 2 first game predictions. Bandits versus Albany. Tony, who you got? What's your score prediction? Okay. Who's your MVP of the game?
Well, with guys being out or guys, I got the James Smith. I got a feeling he's going to have another 10-point performance. He is my go-to guy. And obviously with Matt Vince being back, Albany, you got a hard time coming to you because you're going to have a wall in front of you.
Brick wall.
So I'm going to say Bandits 15, Albany 11.
I like it. 15-11 in favor of Buffalo. Dane is Tony's player to watch. For me, I think we're going to come out firing right away. I don't see this game being very close at halftime, but I can see Albany kind of rallying back in that second half. Similar to you, Tony, I have the Bandits winning this game, except I have them winning 14-10, and I can see Chase Frazier being the MVP of the game.
Oh, good old Chase. Yeah, he looked good in the what was it, the scrimmages that they had at home? Oh my God.
You look at his Instagram. Look at his Instagram posts too. This guy is fired up. He can't wait to get back on the field. He's a guy that is out for blood again. He's not satisfied with just one title. He wants to go out and because he signed to a 1-year deal. You know that he wants to bring back another one on his final contract year. So Chase Frazier is definitely the player to watch. I think he comes out of the gates right away, maybe scores 4 or 5 goals. We win this game 14-10.
I like that score too. Either way, it looks good to a 4-goal victory in our favor. So for those of you that have been watching us, I'd like to say thank you again for coming back for our 3rd year, guys. This is awesome.
You believe
3rd
that?
season coming back as Banditland Boulevard. We cannot thank you all enough. And we like to thank also the guys that have been watching us and also have been listening to us both on Spotify.fm and also our YouTube channel as well on Banditland Boulevard. So, guys, we love you. We thank you so much for coming on to the show. And also, if you want to be on the show, please drop a comment saying, I'd like to join you. I'd like to give you my input about things. Please ask either Trevor over there or myself. We would love to have you on the show.
Yes, of course. And we like to thank everyone because we looked at our Spotify Wrapped. We were on the top we were on the top podcast for 11 different users. We're just doing this for fun, okay? So we thank you. If we were on your top listened to podcasts this year, whether you're listening in the USA or Canada, we like to thank you because we started off just doing this for fun. We were just giving our thoughts about the Bandits, giving our pre-games and post-games. The fact that 11 of you out there, this is your top podcast you listen to on Spotify, we thank you so much for that. And guess what, guys? Tony, well, first of all, Tony, safe travels, by the way. Hopefully the Bandits pull out a big W when you're in the state's capital. Pray for me, guys, because I'm going to the Sabres game tonight. Might be breaking out the paper bags in section 102. So if you see me there with a paper bag on, say hey to your guy. I could be at home watching the Bandits game, but, free tickets in 102. Those are good seats. I'm going to be surrounded by a bunch of Montreal fans, so pray for me.
Yeah, but think of it this way. It would be a hell of a Buffalo weekend if all 3 teams won, which would be sweet for us.
You mean the one Buffalo, W-O-N Buffalo.
Yep.
So but it starts off 1-0. Let's go 1-0, Tony. Let's just go 1-0. All right, Tony, safe travels. We're back. We'll see you on the post game. We have 3 words to sign this season 3, episode 1 podcast off. Right. What are those 3 words, Tony? Yep. Let's go Bandits. Let's go.
Let's freaking go. Championship run number 2. Here we come.
Back to back like Jordan 96-97. Let's go.